We're excited to introduce you to our next generation of small wheel loaders in the 926, 930, and 938 model lineup. We focused these upgrades and improvements in three main areas. The first being safety. We wanted to bring some new safety features on to make sure we're the safest machine on the job site. Two, technology. We hear you. We don't want to make it more complicated. We want to make technology easy. We want to make it work for you. Just like your cell phone, you're used to working, that technology is easy to use. We wanted to make this machine easy to use so that 99% of operators could just jump in this machine and go to work, and it's just going to work in whatever application you put it in. And all those value features that are going to save you money are just going to work. And then third, final but not the least, last but not least, we're going to bring on some owning and operating cost upgrades that are going to make sure that we maintain leadership in that owning and operating cost space. Now, if you would join me, let's come talk about this cab. We have a brand new cab with a brand new operator station in our next gen small wheel loaders. So you can see already that there's a lot of changes that have happened out here on the side of the cab. We've actually slid this HVAC unit back, and that has allowed us to bring that glass down lower. So now from the operator station, I can visually see out to the right side front of my tire. So I know what's going on down here. If I'm in tight quarters, maybe I'm operating up against a wall or beside the road, I can visually verify through my line of sight what's going on down beside my machine. Now, since we were moving that HVAC unit anyway, that's allowed us to redesign this HVAC. So with this redesign comes now ground level access to my primary filter. Very easy to get to this primary cab filter and take it out. Then we also have our secondary filter. Very easy to access that as well, as we pop this door open and pull it. Two latches and we're in there, and we can change out our secondary filter. Nice and easy. Now if you would join me back here, and I'll pop the engine door. Below here we also have some new things. We have a new fuel filter. So this fuel filter is larger. We've brought it down from some of our larger products to our next gen small wheel loaders. And what this is going to do is going to allow us to extend the engine service interval out to 1,000 hours. That's right, 1,000. Now, the disclaimer here is we want you to still do that initial 500-hour break-in period. And then what we want you to do is pull a SOS sample, work with your dealer, get that SOS pulled, and then run it out to 500 hours, and then do another SOS sample. And if the SOS sample comes back good, go ahead and rock on to 1,000 hours. Do a SOS sample, do your filter change. Another new feature we have in our hydraulic system is in this tank, we'll have a return filter. So this return filter adds filtration back to tank. So if we plug a work tool in or attachment, we're pulling in any kind of debris or contamination into the system, it's going to get caught by that filter before it returns to tank and gets shot out to other parts of the system. And then we're still going to have that primary filter on the other side, so it makes for a very clean hydraulic system, protecting the components and protecting your investment. That's also going to allow us to extend those service intervals out for the hydraulic oil, and those changes from 3,000 hours to 6,000 hours, saving you a lot of money on your service bill. With that, let's take a look at the back of the machine. As we move around to the back of the machine, we do have some new features as well. We have a new rear camera. We did have a rear camera on our previous model, but this model actually has a wider field of view and a higher definition camera. So it works a little bit better in those low light situations. And then the field of view is excellent. You can actually see down here to your hitch. So if you're hooking up a trailer to a pintle hitch, or whatever your case may be, it's easier to back that in and get that hooked up. And then while also maintaining that field of view down, you can also catch a field of view up high. So if you're in under a roof or something like that, you can see what's going on behind you. So nice wide field of view with this new high definition camera. And this is standard, guys. Standard out of the factory with every single next gen small wheel loader. Here is an option we also see with the rear object detection. Now this is an option that you can order if you're in those tight quarters areas and you're working, people are coming behind you, machines may be coming behind you, you're in a transfer station or just in a high traffic area running that machine, and you want to get that alert, that audible, that visual sign that something is behind me or something has moved behind me, much like we have in our vehicles that we're used to today. So this will provide that system for you. You'll get that audible and visual alert inside the cab on our new display with the next gen machine. Now, if you would, let's talk about this operator station. All right, folks, we're in the cab now. And as you can tell, a lot has changed. We are now in the most comfortable place on the job site. Now, back to that first thing of safety. We have added making visibility a priority and safety on the job site. We took this cab glass and we lowered it and made it a little bit flatter. We took some of that curve out of it. So now when I hit this wiper button, I get a lot more travel from side to side to get that windshield clean in dirty, mucky conditions. And you know, we talked about it earlier. We slid that HVAC unit back. We were able to lower that cab glass down so we can see from the operator seat directly down beside our right front tire, eliminating that blind spot. So when we're in tight quarters, we can keep an eye on things. As you can see, there's something missing here, folks. That's right. We're bringing on joystick steering as an option for our next gen small wheel loaders. Now the steering wheel will still be the standard one out of the factory, but if you want to upgrade, you can get this joystick steering. And once you remove that steering wheel and you get this joystick steering, it really opens up the whole cab. We talk about visibility and freedom of movement in getting in and out of the machine, and there's no words to describe how much more comfortable it is and open it is. But seeing is believing, right? Now, something else that we put thought into is when we get into the machine, like just making it easier for operators to jump in it and see where everything's at. So we made the touch points yellow on here. So anything that can be adjusted, or maybe you need to touch as you first get in the machine to get it going, we kind of made that yellow to make it visual. So you can just reach over and you can push the button and crank the machine. That's right, I said push the button to crank it. The key is gone. You will still get a Bluetooth key fob that will enable the machine to start, or you can start it through your display with your operator ID and your profile codes. So we've also, the first step really is to make sure that this machine is adjusted to you. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to just rock this pod down here with our joystick control, and I'm going to adjust it, make sure that it's comfortable. I can bring all these things to me, the operator. I'm bringing the work to me so that it's in the best ergonomic position to fit my body, right? Not everybody has the same body size, same body shape. You know, we're all a little bit different. So we want to bring that work to us in an ergonomic fashion, you know, especially for those high utilization applications where I'm in this machine for long hours operating. So the great thing about this is these do adjust independently of this seat, so I can get it just right for me. Now, once I got it right, I'm ready to go to work. Also helping with our increased visibility is going to be the fact that we were able to move that touchpad over to this A-pillar and put it in line with our new displays. Now you see here, this is going to be our primary display, and this is standard with the machine. And then you also see our 360-degree display. So that 360-degree display is another optional safety feature we've added on the next gen loader, so that if you're in those tight quarters and you need to keep an eye on what's going on around you, maybe you need to focus in an area, you're working beside a highway, beside a road, you know, maybe you're carrying something on the front of your machine. We actually have a front mounted camera, and we can toggle to that and bring that area into focus so that we can keep an eye on what's going on out front of that machine. In any blocked visual paths, you can see that. And then if we need to bring the focus down to the right side of the machine or the left side of the machine, beside a wall, beside a road, beside cones, traffic cones, we'll be able to do that and keep an eye on things and make sure that we're safe operating this machine on the job site. Also, new to our layout inside the cab here, we have another way to interact with our display. We actually have a jog dial. So if I'm wearing gloves, or maybe my hands, I've got some grease on them or something, I don't want to reach up and touch that display, I can just use the jog dial to toggle between things and activate that display and make my selections. It's also great for dialing up hydraulic flows, dialing down speed if you're in creep or something like that, precisely finding that sweet spot. Also like it when I'm using it for an RPM. Like if I'm dialing in an RPM level, it's easy to find an exact RPM level by using this jog dial. Right behind that jog dial, you'll have those same shortcut buttons, home or back, and playfully called a hamburger button with 3 bars, and then also an I button. The I button is going to be information. So information, if you have questions or you want to know something about this machine, you hit that I button and it'll bring up a couple of different things. And you notice that I just hit that button, it brings up joystick buttons. So something new for our next gen small wheel loaders, we're going to bring on programmable buttons. So this splash screen, of course, is shown when you crank the machine, but say, you forgot how something was set up, or you wanted to double check something or make sure that you changed the setting and it took. You can easily hit that information button and see how those buttons are arranged on your joystick. Also, behind that, we're going to have our park brake button and our hydraulic lockout button. We've brought that down right beside your right wrist. A little further back, we'll have our turn signals, our wiper buttons for front and rear, and another informational button. If we look up, our upper console has changed some too. We now have this great finger ledge, so I can kind of rest my hand up here and hit these buttons to toggle through the radio if I need to, using that little bit of muscle memory. And then also, you guys will notice we have now an auto mode on our temperature. So this is nice. You can just set it. It's a hot summer day in North Carolina where we build these machines, so I've got it turned kind of down, but I can just set it on that and the machine will regulate the temperature for me, keep it in that nice cool spot like I like. Also, we have some new lighting features, and that bringing, again, safety's first, right? So we have an ambient light sensor down in the machine, so it will detect in low light conditions and just turn on those rodent lights for you when you need them. There's also, with the LED package, a daytime rodent light, so that's really nice too, to make sure your machine is seen on the job site. We, at a fingertip, can control our parabolic mirrors and move those wherever we want to line them up to make sure we can see out of them really well. We have our beacon switch as well, and that kind of winds up the tour up here. Making technology simple, we've automated some other features in this machine too that are going to just save you money. The first one, if you take a look at our new display on our next gen loader, automatic engine. So this is an automatic engine mode, which will give you power on demand when you need it, but when you don't need it, we'll throttle that engine down and save you fuel burn, save you money on fuel. Coming back out, we also have an automatic wheel torque. So we call this previously rim pull control. We're calling it auto wheel torque now because it's really, it describes what it's doing. It's controlling the torque at the wheels. So it doesn't let those wheels slip and spin when we're pushing into a pile and just spin off rubber and burn them down prematurely. It'll give you just enough push to get that in, get that bite, and get out without letting them slip and spin freely. So automatic wheel torque control is going to save you a lot of money on tires. The 3 development areas, we brought safety features on, make technology simple, and lowered owning and operating costs. Next Gen Small Wheel Loaders, contact your dealer today.